Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Julia. I'm Julia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. I am super excited about today's video because it is in collaboration with other wonderfully talented crafters. This is part of a DIY challenge hosted by Heidi Sonboul. Those of you who are familiar with Heidi know she is a very talented young lady, so I am honored to be part of her challenge. The challenge this month is Christmas. We have to create a craft with a Christmas theme. The link to Heidi's channel and to the entire playlist is in the description box below. So please click on each playlist and be amazed by their talent. And here is my project for the challenge. This little guy fell down the slopes, but don't worry, he's not hurt. I get so much satisfaction in making my own holiday decorations, but I think the most gratifying one is that I share how I make it and perhaps inspire you to make one. So let's get started. If you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. I love to get feedback from my viewers. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Julia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of those links are in the description below this video. Let's first go over what you're going to need for this project. The first thing you want to do is you want to print out the pattern. You will find the pattern in a link in the description box below this video. Print out the head and the mittens. For the head, you will need a piece of white felt, enough to make two. You want to cut out two of these, and that's going to be for the head. And for the mittens, I am using gray felt because that is coordinating with the color that I'm using. So depending on the color you're using, that is the felt that you need. And you're going to need at least a 9x12 piece of felt. And I am using gray, and you're going to cut out 4 mittens. Then you're going to need 2 coordinating socks, one for the scarf and one for the hat. You will need a bell. I got this at Joann's, and during this holiday season, you can get them at any craft store. You will need 4 styrofoam balls. These are 1.5 inch styrofoam balls. You need 2 for each shoe. You will need polyfill for the mittens and the head. You will need fur for the cuff on the mittens and the cuff on the shoes. This is furry yarn that I'm using. You will need flexible wire to make the eyeglasses. You'll need ribbons coordinating in your fabric. So depending on the fabric you use, that's the ribbons you need. You will need a carrot nose. Now you could either make one in felt, or you can buy these. These are by Darice, and they come in a package of 2. The link is in the description below. You will need 2 glass beads for the eyes. 2 black glass beads for the eyes. You will need a smaller bell for the tip of the hat, and then embellishments as you see fit. I have these little sprigs, these little snowflakes, embellishments as you see fit. For the skis, I am using these that I got from Amazon. These come in unfinished wood, and I painted them white. And then for the ski poles, these are just chopsticks that I painted white. And I got these from Amazon. They're just wooden discs with a hole in them, and they come in unfinished wood. I painted them white, and these will go and act as the little thing for the ski poles. Okay, you're going to also need some Aleene's Glitter Snow. This is just to dab all over the snowman when we're done. And then for his face, we're going to rosy up his cheeks, so you're going to need some kind of blush. And then I have a styrofoam cutter that I use to cut my styrofoam. You could use a knife, you could use a box cutter, anything that's sharp, however you cut your styrofoam. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trace my my pattern onto my felt, and I am going to sew my pattern, my pieces. If you are not inclined to sew, or you don't have a sewing machine, not a problem. You can glue it. You can use hot glue and glue around. You just want to leave an opening so that when you turn it right side out, you can stuff it. Okay, and with the mittens, there is an opening, so you're just going to glue around and then turn it right side out and then stuff it. Okay, so let me go and sew my pieces. And for the shoes, we're going to take a styrofoam ball, and we're going to cut off a third of the ball. So right there, I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, and then we're going to take the other ball and do the same thing. So we're just going to cut off a third. Okay, you're going to do that for all 4 pieces. Okay, let's set that aside. And now we're going to glue these pieces together. So taking a little bit of hot glue, we're going to glue the 2 sides together. Okay, now we're going to take the cutter again, and now we're going to take the 2 balls and cut a third. So that's the center. We're going to cut right here. Okay, again, that's my center. I'm going to cut right here. Okay, so now we're going to cover the shoe with the felt. So I already did one. Let me show you how I did that. So you're going to take your felt and you're going to stretch it out. And you're going to put a little bit of glue on the edge of your styrofoam. And we're going to put the felt over that. And now this is the important part. You want to really pull it so that you don't get any wrinkles. Okay, it has to be nice and flush. See that? You don't want that wrinkle. Pull it, keep pulling it so that it's nice and tight, like that. Now we're going to cut the excess off. Okay, there's our little shoe. Now we're going to make the sole of the shoe. So we're just going to now glue the bottom to the felt. So just put a little glue on the bottom of the shoe. And taking little scissors, I'm just going to cut around the shoe. So let me just make a little square there. Okay, and just take your scissors and you're going to cut around the shape of the shoe. Okay, there's our shoes. And now I want to take this piece of ribbon. It's looks like a rope. And I'm just going to line the shoe with it, the bottom of the shoe. I'm just going to put it all the way around. Now we're going to make the cuff for the shoe. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to make a little circle, and that's going to be the cuff for the shoe, and I'm just going to lay it right on the shoe like that. So I'm just going to take some glue just to start it right there. I'm going to lay my yarn down and then bring this around and cut it about right there. And then glue the entire piece. Okay, that's our little shoe. And then I'm going to take my mittens and do the same thing. We're going to put a cuff around the mittens. So there's a right and a left hand facing, the thumbs face forward. So this is that would be the back of it. Okay, now we're going to glue the head to the bell. So I'm not going to bother with closing up the hole because I want the hole to rest on that little thing that protrudes. So we're going to put the glue on there and then just put it on the bell, and let's wait for that to dry. Okay, then we're going to take our shoes and I'm going to put glue in the center here, and we're going to stick it onto the front of the bell. So we're going to put one shoe here. And one shoe here. Okay, now I'm going to take my one sock that I'm going to use for the scarf, and we're going to put it around his body. So I'm going to cut the toe off. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold that in. And then I'm going to take this part and fold that in. Actually, I'm going to cut that off. And fold that in. And then we're going to just put that right over his head. Okay, now we're going to make the face. So we're going to start with the nose. I want to put the nose on first because then I'll know where my eyes are going to go. So I'm going to just make a hole right here. And we're going to stick the nose right in that hole, right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue, put it in that hole. Put a little on the nose. Okay, then for the eyes, we are going to sew the eyes on. So I have these little black glass beads. What we're going to do is we're going to start from the top of the head. And I'm going to come through to about right there. That's where I want his eyes to be. So we're going to pull the needle through. Had a tough time there. Okay, pull the needle through. Some of the fiberfill is coming out through the hole. So let's just cut that off. Okay, so now we're going to put the bead. I'm going to thread the bead and we're going to go back in and I'm going to come out the other side where I want the other eye to be. So I'm going to go in, and then the other eye will come out to be right there. Okay, then we're going to thread the other eye, and we're going to go back in, come back to the other eye, okay, then we're going to go back through the hole, and back up to the head. Okay, then we're just going to knot it. Okay, now we're going to add some blush to the cheeks. Now for the hat, I'm going to take this sock here and I am going to cut it at the heel. Cut it straight across at the heel. Okay, then I'm going to turn it inside out and we're going to sew that top closed. So I'm just going to take a needle and thread and we're going to run a stitch around the top. Okay, and then pull it closed. Okay, then turn it right side out again. And we have it nice and closed. Okay. Then I'm going to sew the bell on before I put the hat on. Let's sew the bell on. So, just going to come up through the bottom. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to make a little cuff here. And I'm going to glue it so it stays. Then I'm going to put a little bit of fiberfill in the hat, just to give it a little form. Not much. Okay, and then we're going to put it on his head. Okay, now for the hands, I am going to use a regular twig, and I'm going to get my miter shears, and we are going to cut the twig the size that I want the hands to be. So I think right there is where I want that to be. Okay, so now the hands, I want it to be so that it looks like he is falling. So the hands have to be like that. So I have to put the stick in like that so that it looks like he's falling. Okay, now I think my stick is a little too long, so let's cut it off a little bit. So I'm going to glue it like that. And now remember that you have a right and left hand, so the thumbs have to face forward. So that's going to go on that side, that one's going to go on that side. Okay, now we are going to stick the stick up through his scarf. So I want it to be like that. So I'm going to take some glue and we're going to glue it in there. Okay, so now it looks like he is falling. Okay, now I have these little snowflake brads that I'm going to put on his mittens. So I'm just going to glue them on. So I'm going to just cut the metal part off. And we're going to glue those on. Okay, now for his skis. We're going to glue the skis on to the bottom of his shoes. Okay, now we're ready for the eyeglasses. So I'm going to take a thick wooden dowel and we're going to come around and then make a bridge. And then come up around this way. Taking some pliers, we're just going to make a little loop. And there's our little glasses. And we're going to put it right on top of his head. On top of his nose, I'm sorry. On top of his nose. Okay, now for our embellishments. We're going to make some bows. So I have this coordinating ribbon that I thought was really pretty. Now we're going to brush on some glitter snow. This is Aleene's glitter snow. I love this stuff. So I'm just going to take a little paintbrush and we're just going to dab the snow on where we think it would be. Put it all over his skis. And then last but not least, if you want the ski poles, we're just going to glue these little circles on, these little discs. Just glue them on. Okay, and then we're going to cut them with my miter shears. Make sure they're even. Okay, and there's our ski poles. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Happy crafting!